You're listening to Plants and Politics with Gina Bonanno-Lemos. If you're ready to hear the truth about both sides of the aisle, what's really going on in America, and how big money interests prevent change to keep you sick, broke, and desperate, then play on. Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. This is Gina. So there's breaking news this morning that's unbelievable. The New York Attorney General, Letitia James, just announced that her office is seeking to dissolve the NRA, the National Rifle Association. They have filed a lawsuit with 18 counts of action against many of the executives at the NRA, including the CEO, Wayne LaPierre. She is not only seeking to dissolve the NRA due to, in her words, widespread corruption and how deep all of this goes, how many people were willing to go along with all of this fraud, but due to the fact that they've squandered so much money from donations in such a short period of time. So $64 million was basically used illegally over the last just 3 years. So essentially, $20-some million every year. The NRA is of course, a nonprofit created in the state of New York. In Letitia James's own words, she said they, quote, fostered a culture of noncompliance, and they took steps to conceal whistleblower complaints. They're accused of using millions of dollars for personal expenses, things like trips for their family, private jets, safaris, travel consultants. They spent apparently $3.6 million on travel consultants. And private security costs, $1.2 million was spent on gifts, memberships to golf clubs and things like that. They also talk about a company called Ackerman McQueen, and Ackerman McQueen apparently helped them to kind of launder the money in a way. So they clearly knew that what they were doing was wrong, because they didn't just, submit expense reports and take money out of the general fund. They ran a lot of this through Ackerman McQueen. So Ackerman McQueen would bill the NRA for millions of dollars. Apparently 70 million was paid to Ackerman McQueen. So this money was paid to them and then given to LaPierre and the other defendants. So there's 4 defendants in total, but Ackerman McQueen never noted what the money was for. They would bill the NRA, but there was no detailed explanation as to what exactly they were billing the NRA for. And almost at the same exact time as Letitia James was making her announcement, the Attorney General in DC, Carl Racine, I believe is how you pronounce his name, or Racine, announced that his district would also be suing the NRA, alleging that its funds were diverted from charitable purposes and wasted to prop up the NRA in impermissible ways. So Ms. James was asked about donations to political campaigns. She was asked if they found any evidence of that, and she didn't give an outright yes or no. She said that the investigation is still ongoing. So clearly something that they did look into or are looking into. And according to the lawsuit, they had a $27.8 million surplus in 2015, but that by 2018, so just 3 years later, it declined by $64 million. So they were $36 million underwater. And of course, that's why it had been recently reported that they were suffering financially. And from everything laid out in this lawsuit are saying this is why. The other people who are named in the lawsuit are Woody Phillips, who's the former treasurer and CFO, Joshua Powell, who is the former chief of staff for Wayne LaPierre, and then John Frazier, who is the corporate secretary and general counsel. They claim that each of the men, quote, contributed to a culture of self-dealing that violated state laws. And this Ackerman McQueen was apparently their advertising firm. So last year, the NRA and Ackerman McQueen filed lawsuits against each other. It appears that the NRA was trying to make it out like, oh, we didn't know all this was going on. Ackerman McQueen was just taking advantage of us. So they sued Ackerman McQueen over its billing practices, and then Ackerman McQueen countersued in a defamation lawsuit. But this AG lawsuit alleges that Ackerman McQueen was a willing participant and essentially helped them to funnel the money. So very interesting. For people like me, this is great news because the NRA for far too long has had way too much power over the laws that are crafted in this country and lawmakers in general. They have in the past been huge contributors to political campaigns, and they've taken over. They alone are the reason why we have such lax gun laws in this country. And I have long called them a terrorist organization because I feel that they have really contributed to the amount of gun deaths and mass shootings in this country. And I say that as a gun owner. I say that as someone who, my husband has a lot of guns and I don't have a problem with it. And I've gone shooting with him, and I don't have a problem with people owning guns. What I do have a problem with is being able to go to a gun show and pick up a gun without any kind of background check. I have a problem as someone who grew up in a household with a lunatic father who was physically abusive of my mother, and we had guns in the house, and he threatened to shoot all of us while we were sleeping, and he had the means to do so. He should have never been allowed to keep any firearms. Things like that need to stop. When a man is, hauled off for abuse, they shouldn't be allowed to keep their guns. I'm sorry, but if you can't control yourself. So this is good news. I hope that something major comes of it. And anyway, if I hear any more, guys, I will let you know. As always, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.